On Furley Jr. On that front row of the grid. Julien Monlair joins us ahead of Johnson Stewart, who started on the second row of the grid against South Africa's Max Boshoff and Georgia's Ilia Bagaturia on that third row of the grid. Row 4 will see Lorenzo Zucchetto and Ivan Czarnega on row number 4. Dylan Fricker and Maximilian Piontek will go from the 5th row of the grid. And like we say, only 10 drivers in this sprint qualifying race, which, as it stands, this is a randomised grid, so there is there's no fastest driver at the front of this one, there is no slowest driver in the back. It's all completely random. They will do their rolling start on this one, and that will be their first race. Watching on in race control, FIA head of race control, Amelie Richmond, will be joined by Joanna Falcao and Sam Fisher. Watching over all the cameras on the circuit and keeping our eyes well and keeping up to date on this also new format for them. Of course, everyone here waiting to see how this will transpire. Weather today, a little bit different to what we've seen over the last couple of days. Sun has been shining here. It's been very, very warm. Cooler temperatures today, but the threat of rain is not impossible. Maybe around 2 or 3 o'clock today, we could see some rain. Here, though, under the watchful eye of race director Gonzalo Planta here for the FIA. Are we going to be going racing first time of asking? The answer is yes, we are racing. It's a little shaky start there for the field, but Grabowski gets away well from the rest of the field as they head through now turns 2 and up into 3 for the first time. Very tricky corner here, very open. You can see how it transitions from the rallycross circuit onto the karting track here. Now they're back onto the rallycross circuit or onto the tarmac section of part of it, where this is 12 metres wide and then it narrows into the 8 metres wide here, back onto the kart track. So very challenging for them, and already a moment there, not what you want to be doing in sprint qualifying here, because they're only very short races. And tumbling to the back of the grid there is Max Boshoff with an attempt for second place. Grabowski has driven away at the front here, so despite the randomised grid showcasing that his speed was still very, very strong here. Round the final turn then to end the first lap here at the Autodrome Slomczyn. It is Grabowski who leads the way from Dylan Fricker, from John Foley Jr. Zucchetto. It's at a 3-place game, but of course this cannot be ruled out by the Swiss driver. Dylan Fricker has done absolutely superb here in this first sprint qualifying race. He's there, 7 places gained into P2. Foley Jr., as we were mentioning, is there in third from Zucchetto. Czarnega holding on to 5th place. Julien Monlair and Maximilian Piontek have pushed up as well at the expense of Johnson Stewart. Max Boshoff and Ilia Bagaturia currently locking out the top runs in this one. Time very quickly running out. We are on 4.5 minutes remaining of this race. Please do ignore that graphic that you see. This is not the final lap. Still 4 minutes remain of this session. It is effectively the same time frame as what a qualifying would be, except in race format. And as you can see here, Grabowski is under a massive amount of pressure from Dylan Fricker. Switzerland here is going to try and push forward right now, and he's done so. Through in towards turn 3, beautifully committed there, found that inside line and was just able to push forward. Now can Grabowski fight back? That's the question. He showed the great pace at the start of it. Now he's going to have to try and squeeze his way back through, as Bagaturia has now found himself the fastest driver out there. He is 2.8 seconds off that back train, but he is the quickest out there. So big challenge here for Dylan Fricker, and of course he started this race at the back of the grid. Now remember, that reverse grid later on today, he'll be on pole, so he'll be having a real big advantage if he's showing this sort of speed right now at this stage of the weekend. Over the line they go. Monlair now back to 3rd at the expense of John Foley Jr. Boshoff has got back past Bagaturia. That's a 9th place at the moment. The aerial shots here showing the Autodrome with parts of the car circuit, the GT track that they're going to be building, and that long section you can see that's still undeveloped. There are plans to put in a 3.5 kilometre long GT circuit here alongside the rallycross circuit and the 1.2 kilometre karting circuit that we are racing on now. There is Johnson Stewart right behind Lorenzo Zucchetto, not able to get a move done just yet on that. He is down 3 places at this moment. And all these drivers just wanting to push forward. Short session here. And that, for John Foley Jr., is exactly what he needed. Grabowski, who broke away earlier on, now finding himself under pressure massively here. Now, Julia Monlair, the former Mercedes Young Junior driver, will find herself in that top running spot. She is looking to get back up into 3rd place. She's found that 3rd place down the inside and steps forward. Beautifully delivered. And that's an incredible start for them. Now here, down the inside, Janega also trying to get through, but not finding the gap. And that's opened it up to Johnson Stewart. That small advantage there that can be gained, but late on the brakes once more. And they're tripping over a little bit now. They're losing that momentum that they need to try and close up to the groups in front. So that's Stewart back to 5th. Janega holding on to 6th place. Piontek is there in 7th. Romziketo, Boshoff and Bagatoria, who's rounding out the top 10 still. But they are letting the top runners break away. Fricker in control here with 1.5 minutes to go. As now Max Boshoff has become under investigation. So we'll need to be careful with that one. And speaking of that, my goodness, seeing those moves into turn 2 is quite something. You can see they can carry the speed around turn 1. It's very open, very inviting as you go into it. So are most parts of the track here, where it navigates from 12 meters down to 8 meters in certain places. And just as quickly as he may have been under investigation, Boshoff showing that the speed is there. Fastest lap of the race. Are we seeing John Foley Jr. here close in to Dylan Fricker? Possibly. Gapped down to 0.7 of a second. You can see the aerial shot there of the field as they're closing through. Very close for 3rd place. Very close to 5th place right now. But this is the 3rd place battle and 2nd place battle we are watching. John Foley Jr. of Ireland having to deal with Julia Monlair of France, who is piling on that pressure into the infield now, into the hairpins, turn 6. This is the 12-metre wide one. Very easy to have a kart go down the inside. Then it narrows into turn 7. This is the rest of the field here. But long old race. But final lap is out. I can see, well, the timer struck 0. So let's see. I have to remind myself about how this all works now. Will they see the check flag, or are they going to see the last lap board? No, they see a last lap board. So it's the time plus 1 lap. That's how it works. So Fricker will see that last lap board now as he crosses the line. This is their last chance to gain a position to help them out for their racing later on. Remember, Dylan Fricker started this race at the back of the grid. Any position he's in now is a huge benefit to where he'll be starting later on, because of course him starting at the back in this one, reverse that grid, he is starting on pole for that next race, or at the front of the grid, and that is not because of him winning this race. That is purely the reverse grid of the start of that race. But John Foley Jr. has closed in dramatically on this final lap. Last 2 corners to negotiate. Little wide there for Fricker. Can Foley Jr. find a way through into that final chicane? I don't think it's going to happen. It's very narrow through there as they make their way into the final turn. Dylan Fricker is going to take the first sprint qualifying race win of the 2026 season. And that's superb from the back row of the grid. From that 5th row, Dylan Fricker finding his way to that P1 spot ahead of John Foley Jr., who, of course, will be joining on that back row of the grid for that next race. That reverse grid, of course, will put John Foley Jr. on the